How are we feeling? Good? Have you had fun so far? Ready to have more fun? I can't feel the energy in the room. Are we ready to have more fun?
Yes.
Because I thought I was the one who's jet lagged. And I'm feeling a bit, right? So I need an energy booster. Can you help me with the exercise? Yeah? Okay. So I'll count from 1 to 4. Can I get everyone to stand up, please? Because you'll just need to help me out with this exercise. I need some energy from you, right, to get through this session, because it's almost sleeping time from where I am, Melbourne. So it's night time there. So you need to wake me up. So I'll count from 1 to 4. I'll do all the hard work. All you have to do is on a 1 and 2, you go slap, slap. Right? Let's try that. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. No. On a 1 and 2. 1, 2, 3, 4. 3, 4, you don't do anything. I'll do all the hard work. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. I think I'll make it a bit more complicated for you because you're too good at this, right? So on a 3, along with 1, 2, you go clap, right? 4, you have a rest. After all the hard work, on a 4, you have a rest. So 1, 2, 3, rest. 1, 2, 3, rest, right? Are we ready? All together. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. Get to the rhythm. 1, 1, 2, 3, 4. More passion, more energy. Very good, very good. Just before you sit down, please, you guys can rock. I'm now awake, and we'll have fun for the rest of the session. Thank you for that. Give yourselves a big round of applause. Right, now, just before you sit down, I didn't tell you to sit down. This is like, I know you're tired. I'm the one who's traveled from halfway around the world, and you are sitting down, right? It's not fair. Can I get everyone to stand up for 30 more seconds, please? Yeah? Now, what I want you to do is think of 2 CEOs who could be anywhere in the world, any organization, 2 CEOs that come to your mind first. Lock them into your minds. Got them? Anyone, anywhere in the world, 2 CEOs. Right. Now you will see a list of names on the screen here, and the names that you have logged in your minds, if any of these names happen to be one of those CEOs or both of those CEOs, you may sit down now. So if you've got Elon Musk, Tim Cook, Satya Nadella, Jeff Bezos, Sundar Pichai, or Mark Zuckerberg, you may sit down. Wow. That's like 90% of the room. Okay? For the few people who are still standing, if these 2 names that you have thought of are both females, you may sit down. Anybody? Nobody. If even one of them was a female, you may sit down. 1. For the people who are still standing, if one of the names of the CEO that you thought of is the CEO that you're currently working with or the organization that you represent, you may sit down. 2. The rest of you, you may sit down now. Okay. From what I've seen in the room and what we've just observed, I've got some good news and some not so good news. Which one do you want first? Why do you have to be so negative? Let's keep it positive, right? Do the first, good things first, right? Keep it positive a little bit. So I'll give you the good news first. The good news is that most of the room, most of you guys, are thinking the same way as I am. When I did this exercise for the first time, I also thought of 2 names that were from this list. If I was to pick a third CEO, that might have been from this list as well. The names that came to my mind first were the names that were popular, prominent, and powerful. Right? And that's what happened with you. So what's the not so good news? I got this list from a very close and intelligent friend of mine. I asked them for a top 10 CEO list in the world, and they gave me 10 names. These were the top 6. And it seems like my friend was also thinking like you and me. By the way, you might know of this friend. The name is ChatGPT. And they also did not pick a female leader. A little bit. So, the qualities that spell success for us, for leaders in the past, may not be the qualities that are necessary to lead into the future. How many of you here are leaders? Raise your hand if you're a leader. Can I please request every one of you to raise your hands, because we are all leaders. Thank you. We don't need a position title or a leadership role to be able to engage and inspire others. There are leaders and there are those who lead. Leaders are those with institutional power and authority. Those who lead inspire us. And we follow leaders not because of what they do, because of why they do it, right? We share their vision, we share their dreams, we share their purpose. The CEOs of the future will be the chief energizing officers. That will be the catalyst that will generate a following to create a positive impact for our society. The CEOs of the future will be even more competitive because they are more adaptable. The CEOs or the leaders of the future will be more influential because of their authenticity and their humility. And while there is value on the items on the left here, the leaders of the future will need to embrace the values on the right more. Did I say right on the other side? I'm left-handed, so I get confused, right? The left-hand side is important, but this is more important for the leaders of the future. A lot of people are nodding our heads, right? So we all agree. This is obvious. Yet, when we were asked to think of 2 names at the beginning of the session, our unconscious bias kicked in for 90% of the people here in this room, including myself. And we thought of leaders that seem to achieve greatness based on power and confidence rather than these values. Don't you agree? But don't feel bad. It's not just us in this room here. I have asked this exact question to over 1,000 people in the last 6 months. And sadly, close to 90% of the people sat down for one of those 6 names that I showed you at the beginning. And alarmingly, of those 1,000 people, we had 1 in this room, and there were less than 10 altogether of the 1,000 that picked a female leader. Now, we need to change that. As a community, as a movement, we need to change that quickly, because it's all in our mindset. We have to reevaluate, rethink what we admire in great leaders. This looks good on a poster, right? Leaders who focus on trust, respect, and empathy, create a workforce culture where every team member can thrive. Now, these posters, I created this particular one for IBM that was to be dished out to 300,000 IBMers around the world, plus many of our clients at the time. This poster, we've seen many of these kind of messages and these posters in many organizations that we go to, right? We all see that. I see them as a movie poster where when there is a new movie coming out, there is a poster, the first impression that you might get is, oh, it's a rom-com. And I get excited and go along and watch the movie. And in the first scene, I realize, oh, it's a horror movie. That's what these posters are like for organizations. You get into the organization and you think, oh my God, this is not what I heard from the leaders when I met them before I joined. I've gone to multiple organizations in many countries where I meet leaders and they say, oh, we've got a great teamwork here. We've got a great culture here. People love working for us. We all trust and respect each other, blah, blah. You know how it goes, right? But how do you know what the culture and the mindset inside the organization's really like? Right? Posters don't cut it. So how do you tell if the organization's got the mindset that is conducive to the modern ways of working? I've got a litmus test that I use that I want to share with you. And here's the scene. Here's the movie scene. Imagine your organization, this scenario. You know best the answers to your organization. Don't have to call it out. Just think. There is a nasty issue or a problem that has just been raised in a team meeting. No one knows what caused the issue. No one knows much about the problem. What is the first thing that goes through your team member's mind, generally, in your teams? Right? I'll give you 4 options. See if any of these resonate. Do members of your teams think, let's find out more about this issue so that we know who created this problem? Or do they think, this is not in my area, so I don't have to worry about this one? Or is it option C? Anything that I say may be used as evidence against me. I have the right to remain silent. And many do, because of fear. They remain silent. Now, as kids, we were all taught that please and thank you were our magic words. But as I grew up in the corporate world, I figured that there is another set of magic words that works even better. And that's option D here. I will take care of that. How often do you hear these magic words when there is a problem in your teams? You will only hear these magic words in your teams when people in your teams are not hiding behind their job titles. You will only hear these magic words when the team members are not playing the blame game. And you will hear these magic words when the leaders have put in the psychological safety that is needed in those teams. Right? And when you look at psychological safety, it's something that leaders have a lot of influence on. There's no one else that can be blamed. And in my experience, when you don't hear these magic words in your teams, you can almost always put it down to the fact that the leaders of the organizations or the teams are not able to create that psychological safety where teams or team members are feeling safe. Now, feeling a lot of tension in this team, in this room, right? And that wasn't my intention. My intention was to have fun. That's what I said first when we first started, right? So let's change channels to the fun channel. Do you want to say change channels or do you want to stay on this one? Change channels. Or it doesn't matter. You don't know what you're getting. We'll change channels. We all know this guy, right? Fastest guy on earth. He's got the world record for the 100-meter sprints. This photo was taken when Usain Bolt won his third gold medal at the London Olympics. He's won many more gold medals since then. I'm excited because 2032, in about 6 years' time, the Olympic Games is coming down under to Brisbane, Australia, and we will get to see some of these stars in our own backyard. And the 100-meter sprints arguably is one of the most anticipated events in the Olympic Games. Don't you agree? Yeah? You keen on those? Yeah? But the 100-meter sprints these days takes less than 10 seconds. It's over in less than 10 seconds, and then what? And then you go, oh, there is beach volleyball and gymnastics to keep me excited. But then there is the 4x100-meter relay races, right, where 4 of the fastest sprinters from every country are on the track at the same time. And what's even better is it's a team sport. Anyone keen on the 4x100-meter relay races? Yeah? Anyone here has watched it live? Live? Very good. I've watched it on TV many times. I want to watch it live. But have you noticed that when you watch it on TV, these relay races, the camera is always focusing on the guy with the baton before the race starts. There are other runners on the 100-meter mark, 200-meter mark, 300-meter mark. There's a runner there. What are they doing while the race is about to start? Have you ever seen the camera focus on them? No. The guy on the 300-meter mark, they may be signing autographs, because it's going to be ages by the time the baton gets to them, but the camera never focuses on them. Because who cares? It's the team that gets the baton over the line first wins the race, and the camera is always focusing on the baton. The guy on the baton is always the focus. We get that. But if we have that race here, let's have that race here. Just have an imaginary track here, right? So you'll go around this way. Lane 1, we have USA. Lane 2, Jamaica. Lane 3, we've got Japan. Lane 4, I've got to have Australia. Lane 5, do you want India? All of a sudden, India's good at running, right? Lane 6, we've got ABC Consulting. ABC Consulting, because they claim that they can have 4 runners running 100 meters in sub 10 seconds. So they are allowed to take part in this race. And this is how ABC Consulting is going to conduct this race. The first thing ABC Consulting will do is introduce a track manager on the track. And the track manager is going to go to the 100-meter runner, go to Ravi. You know it's going to be 10 seconds by the time the baton gets to you, right? There's a high jump happening just beside here. It will take you no more than a few seconds. You'll be back in no time to take the baton to the 200-meter runner. 200-meter runner, Vinod, we met earlier. There's a long jump happening there. You can do that long jump in no time and take the baton to pass it to the far end guy here, who's the 300-meter runner. 300-meter runner. You will be getting the baton from the 200-meter runner, but while you're waiting, why don't you run that 100-meter sprint? We know you can do 100 meters in sub 10 seconds. You'll be back in no time to finish the race for us. Are we all good? So this way, we are all fully utilized. And it is said that organizations in this day and age are still running races like this. A lot of organizations have got leaders who are focusing on the wrong things, where they are keeping the runners running rather than following the baton. And in this day and age, there's a lot of leaders still focusing on the wrong things. They focus on the hours rather than the outcomes. And we are forgetting, and this is a broad generalization, but it's said that I have to still talk about this 10 years after I first talked here. I talked about this in the first talk I did in 2014 in Agile India, and I still talk about it because it's still a problem. Now, what's happening is leaders are not realizing that the Agile teams are when Agile teams are based on trust rather than on control, that's when they thrive. And the strongest pillar for any team, let alone Agile teams, any team, sporting team or any team, even at home, it's built on trust. Now, talking about trust reminds me of another story. Do you want one more, a little more story? Yes? Okay. A couple are having a coffee, husband and wife. They're having a coffee and her phone rings. She takes the phone. Hello. Oh, hi, how are you? Yeah. Oh, no. Oh, when did that happen? Oh, dear, that's no good. What did you say? Oh, that's really bad. Oh, my God. Yeah, no, I'll talk to her tomorrow. Okay, then, that's really bad. Okay, then, bye. She hangs up. Now, the husband who's having the coffee with her is as curious as you are as to what was all that about. And asks the wife, what was it all about? To which the wife goes, oh, nothing, honey. Nothing that should bother us right now. And continues having the coffee. Now, let me translate this to a team scenario. A customer raises a defect. The product owner approaches the Scrum Master to talk about the defect, and they both agreed that this defect is not important enough, critical enough to be shoved into the current iteration. It can go in the backlog to be talked about in the future upcoming iteration planning session. So not wanting to make it a big deal, the product owner notes this in his private notepad so that it doesn't become an issue with the team. However, one of the team members, developers, overheard some of this conversation and approaches the Scrum Master saying, oh, did the product owner just raise a new defect? What was that about? To which the Scrum Master says, oh, it's nothing that should bother us right now. There's so many more important things to worry about now. Now, in both of these scenarios, the coffee scenario and the defect scenario, we are seeing a lot of control over information. But what's really happening inside each of these scenarios? In the coffee scenario, the husband is thinking, she doesn't trust me enough. She doesn't even want to share what her best friends just told her. I'm never ever going to come back to have a coffee with her again. While the wife is thinking, this is our coffee time. There is nothing more important than enjoying this quality time with my hubby and having this coffee right now. Everything else can wait. Let's enjoy this coffee time with my hubby right now. And in the defect scenario, the developer is thinking, this Scrum Master is crap. They don't even trust us with what the product owners just told them. How can they trust us with our work? While the Scrum Master is thinking, the sole reason for my existence in this team is to protect them. There is nothing more important for me to do than to protect them from the external disturbances, external noises, and any distraction that they might get. I need to protect my team. Now, in both of these scenarios, we are seeing that there is a perceived lack of trust and a profound lack of emotional intelligence. And this is what we are suffering right now in our workplaces. And if there is only one message that you want to take out of this session here today, make it this one. It is emotional and human intelligence, not artificial intelligence, that will be the differentiator between a good leader and a great leader of the future. Emotional intelligence over AI. There are some things that we humans can do that machines will never be able to do. Because we've got a beating heart, we've got feelings. Talking about feelings, I want to share something that I was going through, and this is all of the things that I've talked about are not made up. They are real things, right? So a while ago, this time last year, I was going through hell. There was a lot happening at work, at home, with me, everything. So I had to ruthlessly prioritize a lot of things to just keep my head above the water to get through. I chose to ruthlessly prioritize and push some things down my backlog. Chose not to reply to some of the emails that could have waited, just to keep my head above the water. And then one evening, at 8:30 p.m., while I'm struggling, I get a text message. And there were this is the message here. Hey, just checking you are okay. Unusual for you not to respond. Call out if you need help. Just by these words, I'm feeling better already. There is somebody out there caring about me. I matter to somebody. Just these words made me feel so much better. Until I read the second half of this message. It says, I really need your help. If you could respond to my email as soon as possible, thanks, with a smiley. Suddenly, I'm thinking that there is a distinct lack of authenticity in this message. I started feeling worse than I was feeling before receiving the message now. Because if they were really checking in on me and not checking up on me, they could have just done that properly without fabricating it. Or, if they really needed help, they could have just got to the point, I really need your help if you could respond to my email as soon as possible. Even if I had seen that message at 8:30 in the evening, I would have been more inclined to respond. Because there was authenticity here. And this is what I'm seeing a lot of, not just leaders, everybody, all humans, myself included, I fall in this trap all the time where I'm trying too hard to be too polite, too friendly. And as such, I'm coming across as not authentic. I'm working on that on myself. Right? And this is what I see a lot of leaders doing, is mixing up checking in versus checking up. Don't mix the two. If you're really checking in on people, thinking, I'll send a message saying, are they okay? Just leave it to be like this, with no strings attached and no expectations in return. That's when you connect genuinely. Now, none of us are perfect. We are all humans, and we have some good qualities and perhaps not so good qualities. It's unfortunate this is right in the middle of that, but it's okay, you can stand up. But what I want you to do is look at these 14 common weaknesses that human beings have. And of these 14, just pick 3 that resonate with you. Which of these 14 would you pick? Which 3 of these 14 would you pick as your 3 biggest weaknesses? And don't worry, we won't share your weaknesses with anybody else. This is for your own benefit, this exercise. Right. So, but I'll tell you my 3 biggest weaknesses. I'm number 3, stubborn. I'm number 6, shy. And number 13, indecisive. My wife tells me that anyway. So, have you got your 3 biggest weaknesses? When you're ready, you go, yay! Don't get too depressed. The next bit's more fun, okay? So, I love your enthusiasm. Only one? Are we ready? Very good. Now you've got 3 biggest weaknesses. Now look at the traits on the right-hand side of your 3 biggest weaknesses. These are our hidden strengths. Because I'm stubborn, I'm dedicated. Because I'm shy, I'm reflective. Because I'm indecisive, I'm patient. Hidden in each of my weaknesses is a corresponding strength. What a lot of leaders are not realizing is that it is not enough for us to just know our strengths with each other. While it is important for leaders to get the teams together and talk about each other's strengths, you know how we do as coaches, lots of coaches do this, like, oh, what's your superpower that you bring into the team? And leave it to that. Right? That's important to know about each other. But what's even more important sometimes is to know about each other's weaknesses, especially when you're forming new teams. While there's value and, I guess, benefit in talking about each other's strengths, it's even better when people in the teams know each other's weaknesses as well, because that's when you can have a well-oiled machine. I use this exercise when I'm forming new teams, and I get everybody to talk about their strengths and weaknesses. But as we have just realized, as we just experienced, talking about our weaknesses makes us feel a bit vulnerable. And for this exercise to work, it's the leader's responsibility to make sure that every team member in the team has got those shared values of trust, respect, and empathy. And the culture that they've created is based on psychological safety. That's when these things can work, and that's when you can get your teams humming along nicely. Now, every one of us, each human being on earth, has got an invisible post-it note on our foreheads with the letters MMFI on it. Can anyone tell me what MMFI stands for? Without Googling it. Make me feel important. Who was that? Very good. I borrowed that from Mary Kay Ash. And we should never, ever forget this message when dealing with people. People need to feel valued, appreciated, and whatever they're doing, they have to be given appreciation for and make them feel like they're being valued in the teams. And this is an important message for leaders. It seems obvious. So why am I talking about this in this day and age, still 10 years after I've started talking about these things? Why am I still talking about this, Steve? Because I see a lot of teams where the leaders are coming in. I had a situation where there was a team, and I won't mention the country or the organization because it's not going to be fair on them. Again, a true story. That team was told, oh, it's only Agile that's going to help you. You've got such an aggressive time frame and a fixed scope. Never ever you'll be able to deliver it using traditional methods. Got to go Agile. And I was the lucky one, the chosen one, to coach them and help them deliver that project. First week in the team, they'd been running for 18 months. I go in, and I noticed that on the floor, it's a large organization, there was no leadership presence. Executives, managers, domain leaders, anybody like of influence and authority were not on the floor. Probably hidden on another level or another building even. So at the end of the first week, I reached out to the EGM of the department and said, you know what? It would be nice to come and take part with the team and show some support to the team so that then they know there's leadership support here. Why don't you get involved in some of the things that we are doing as a team here? And to my surprise, without missing a beat, he agreed. He said, yes, I'll be there next Tuesday. I'll do a motivational talk while I'm there. I'll be there. Now I'm excited. At last, there's some leadership involvement here. Next Tuesday, as promised, he turns up. I gather my team around and we form a circle. He's standing beside me and everyone's standing around. And imagine this. This is the word-to-word motivational talk that he gave to the team. Right? He says, the November date is fixed. There is no room for negotiation with the date. The scope is fixed and socialized with the business. I empower you all to do whatever is necessary to deliver the agreed scope by this date. You are empowered to make all decisions with regards to how you want to implement this new product. If, for any reason, you are not able to deliver your piece, or if I find that you are delaying your pieces by waiting for answers, I will crucify you. These were the exact words of the EGM motivating the team. And I haven't made this up. And I'm standing beside him. And by now I've lost all feelings in my legs and I'm crumbling down. As leaders, we need to remember it's not just our actions and behaviors, but also our words that impact the attitude of others. On some calls and in some meetings, and you'll resonate with this, I hear words like headcount, execute, terminate, all in the same sentence. And it seems like a scene from the Terminator movie where Arnold's going to be back and someone's going to get hurt real bad. And in Indian context, this is a scene from the Sholay movie where Gabbar is saying, "Kitne aadmi the? Ab tera kya hoga Kalia?" That's what happens. That's how you feel. As leaders, we've got a choice of words. So let's use them wisely. Because the world needs your good energy. The organizations that you come from need your good energy. The teams and individuals in your teams need your good energy. So let's use our words wisely to project out that good energy. Now, just before I wrap up, I want to go back to the beginning when we were asked to think about two CEOs. None of you were hypnotized. And you thought of two CEOs. Would you still pick the same two CEOs that you picked at the beginning of the session? Most people are saying no. Maybe, maybe not. And this is not just about changing your answers. It's about challenging your perception or our perception of leadership. I might choose a leader because I secretly admire their intelligence, but it's their emotional intelligence that I value more. I may pick a leader because I secretly admire their influence, but it's their authenticity that I value more. So I urge you to think again. We need to redefine, reimagine, and rethink the qualities that we want to admire in the leaders of the future who will not only transform the organizations around us, but the world around us. It's all up to us, and it's all up here. Thank you.
Any questions, anyone?
I know you've listed all the 7. Do you have any leader in mind?
Okay, I'll go back to the list so that you know, yeah. This is very personal to me. The reason I prepared this talk 6 months ago was for Agile Australia when I first talked about this. And when I first heard of this exercise, I can't remember where I heard it, but they said, think of 2 CEOs. Elon Musk and Tim Cook was what I thought of first, right? I live with a CEO. I am married to a CEO, and she is a founder of Mindflight 7. I am on the front seat seeing her progress from the time Mindflight 7 was born to now, where it is now, which is the largest educational organization in Australia. And she has been heading that. Yet, I'm the closest that she's got in her life that should be supporting her. I didn't think of her. What more can I say? And she'll be here tomorrow in the VR sessions, helping us with Jared, my colleague from Mindflight 7, to have fun, more fun in the VR sessions tomorrow. So, and that was an eye-opener for me, right? And I've seen how hard it is for a female of foreign origin in a foreign country to do something like that, right? Let alone for males of foreign countries, let alone even people who have a huge network and to start up something from scratch. Right? I should have thought of her first. I'm the closest that she's got. I didn't. Shame on me. And I would challenge all of you to think the same, because think inside your own house first when you think of leaders. Our parents, our partners, our kids, we learn so much from them, and we should promote them first. And then I asked you, how many people here work for the organizations that you've thought of the CEO? One person sat down. All the rest of us, we don't admire them. Why are we working for them? Right? So we have to reevaluate what qualities we want to admire in our future leaders and change our mindset of who we think of. Good question. Thanks for asking. Any more? No? So, just before I wrap up,
There's one more.
So I think there's another angle of what we think of are the people who we think of as widely successful. And so with that, I mean, do we have any exemplars of widely successful people who predominantly are on your right?
Yes.
And if so, why are they not visible?
Yes.
Because I think my take on this is that both are valuable, and that I've encountered people, some CEOs, who were maybe were predominantly on the left, but they had enough on the right.
Yes.
Predominantly in the visionary category. They're visionaries, and I think that part is probably like an Elon Musk. Part that he brings is the visionary piece, and that, in one sense, has made him quite successful. And we view that as successful, but you don't necessarily have to be.
No, that's right. This is like the Agile Manifesto. While the qualities on the left are important, the qualities on the right are more important, right? So we're not discarding these ones. We're saying we need them. But it's those qualities that the future leaders will have to embrace more because of AI coming into the picture now. We've got to have humility. We've got to have emotional intelligence more so now than ever before because of the intrusion of AI, right? And to your point, Todd, we said something about why are they not as prominent, right? So what is it that they're not seeing as public figures? I think it's the humility thing, right? So they're not able to shine.
No, I would challenge that
Perception
a
is,
little bit.
yeah.
Challenge that a little bit. But I think
Yeah.
that it's, well, I think that all of these are valuable.
Yes.
And there will be people who don't have some of either side. It's the right mix
Yeah.
that is going to actually be necessary.
I agree with you.
And it
Yeah.
may be that we will be in a time where really the society values that on the left. And that's who they're looking for.
Yes.
Something that looks across as powerful concept.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's the balance that you have to have with the mix of all of these things in the environment that you are in. Right, so some environments would need you to be more powerful and more confident to be able to excel. Right, there are cultures where without those two you can't be anybody. Right, there are some cultures where you can't even progress forward without being the authoritarian. Right, and it's based on culture as well. So it depends on the environment that you're in as well. So there's no clear distinction that these are more important in every environment. Yeah. So I think we're on the same page with that. Yeah. So yes, yes. The reason I created that half was that after AI was introduced, I was thinking, what is it that leaders can do to complement AI? Right? What is it that AI is not able to do that we able to do? So that's more of that list there. Anyway, so I keep being shown the 0 mark, which is 0 minutes left. Tomorrow morning, I've got another session that's a continuation of this, where you'll get more tips and practical examples and more stories, real-world stories of how you unleash the full potential of your Agile teams. Tomorrow evening, though, is our Mind Flight 7 session, which I'd encourage everyone of you to attend. You can register using that QR code. I'd love you to be there and experience what we are doing. Jared's going to be helping us and facilitating that session tomorrow with Kajol, who's my wife. Thank you all.
Thank you, Dipesh.
Sorry.